Oh. Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder. And we're continuing on with our dumpster dive through Tubi. I was about to call it the blockbuster of streaming, but that's unfair. Blockbuster used to have new movies people would want to watch,
Yeah.
movies people had heard of, movies that had come out recently.
Yeah, I don't know what the old media equivalent of Tubi would be.
TBS Superstation.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Well, yes, if you're returning, welcome back. If you're new, what we do is we critique stuff from our corners, and we, of course, as DB said, we're continuing our journey into the free streaming service that is Tubi. Getting us started off this week, it is Bruce Lee in Fist of Fury.
Fist of Fury.
Yeah.
All right.
And so now this is your first Bruce Lee movie, right?
Right. I of course, everybody knows who Bruce Lee is. Everybody has seen like isolated moments out of context, but this is my first time sitting down and actually watching a Bruce Lee movie start to finish.
Yeah. This is my second one after Enter the Dragon, which I think that's his like most famous movie, or at least his most mainstream one.
Right, that's the one where we had like the yellow jacket with the black stripes that everyone rips off, right?
And that was Game of Death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Enter the Dragon was the one that was the other movie that was that inspired Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to say that was like it was one of the last movies he did before he passed away. Which yes was. Get this out of the way. Yeah, Bruce Lee died when he was only 32 when he died, and let's just say like I don't care what the conspiracy theories around his death are. He died under like just very banal circumstances. He was he was in the apartment of a Hong Kong actress who he was more than likely having an affair with. And he had a really bad headache. She gave him an analgesic to take, and he fell asleep and never woke up. Yeah, it was I think I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was either swelling of the brain or like an aneurysm of some kind. Or he might have had an allergic reaction. I can't remember. It was something along those lines.
That's way less exciting than the Tong killing him because one of them was sweet on his girlfriend or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Or, he was struck by a death blow and, a strike that would, wouldn't take effect until maybe days, weeks, or even years after he was struck. But no, it's just a very, pretty straightforward kind of, circumstances. He was also his health had kind of gone down like right around that time. I mean, he was taking a lot of drugs. Let's just
what an actor in the 70s taking a lot of drugs.
Yeah,
well, I never.
No, I know. Yeah.
Not doing. Actually, telling me that John Candy used to swallow a lot of anger along with pizzas.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, despite how horrified and shocked I am, I guess we'll have to continue on with this review.
I know, yes. And Arcos, good to see you, man. Yes, it does make him look constipated. Well, that's just
that's how he shouts too.
Yeah, he's like
okay. So this is basically like I feel like there's a lot of the anime industry that should be writing like annual checks to the Bruce Lee estate for basically giving them action anime.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because
looking at you, Fist of the North Star.
Yeah. In fact, let's. Well, you know what? If you don't know what Fist of the North Star is, it's about an anime about a big muscular guy with black hair who screams like a crazy man and punches people to death. Speaking of, Fist of Fury is about a young martial artist who screams like a maniac and punches people to death.
Yes. uh, uh, yeah. So so the plot of the movie. So Bruce Lee plays his character's name is Chen, and it takes place
1908.
1908. Yeah, a very long time ago. And it's in Shanghai, China, where the Japanese are occupying the country.
Yeah, I didn't look too far into the history of it. I think so. They made a big point that this was like when China was the sick man of East Asia because the Qin King dynasty, Qin dynasty. I've never heard it said out loud. Now that I think
Yeah,
about it. Chen dynasty, but whatever. The last emperor of China, that dynasty was on the was eroding because basically the European powers in Japan were able to just set up shop in zones of influence where they owned the trade, and the
right,
central government really couldn't do anything about it.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
As opposed to the time after when the Japanese were occupying parts of Japan in the prelude to World War II.
yes,
I think this is a separate incident.
yeah. I think so too. Yeah. And but yeah, so Chen returns to his martial arts school because his master died, and the master died under mysterious
Yeah.
circumstances.
As the very blatant subtitle or narration at the start tells us,
Yes, yeah,
like this is the most common theory about his death.
yeah. And also too, just real quick, this movie has been, I think, remade like twice. So like Jet Li had his own version of it, and then Donnie Yen, I guess, had a version of it too. Uh,
Right. Yep. And where I said this is like the action anime industry should be writing him checks posthumously.
yeah.
Uh, it is such like a classic thing. Oh, well, we have a teacher, and oh, no, we lost the teacher, and the rival schools are coming over and messing with us. Like martial arts schools are coming over messing with us, so we gotta rumble back.
Right, and rumble back Bruce Lee does, and so basically the rest of the movie is just him taking his revenge on the Japanese school. Getting into all these fights with them, and then uh, basically being like kind of like a spy infiltrator going in and finding out the leadership and everything, and then it all
Right.
just
And it's a series of actually, I don't know if I would say they're increasingly crazy fights because the first fight where he just shows up alone at the Japanese martial arts school, where he just
yeah
takes on the entire room at once with nunchucks.
yeah
Like you cannot deny that the action in this movie is extremely satisfying and well choreographed.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, definitely, yeah. If there's one thing you could say about Bruce Lee movies, is that yes, the fight scenes were always very well choreographed.
Very on point. Um, what I think is funny about Bruce's character is that he's just like a complete. He's like always hysterical. I don't
Yeah.
mean that in the sense of being funny. I just mean like he's always very histrionic. Like
Yes.
he gets home, he sees his master's coffin, and he starts wailing and jumps onto the coffin. No, you can't go. No, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's yeah, he has a hard time keeping his emotions in check,
Yeah.
which for a martial artist is not a good thing.
For that matter, like I think they even make a point that it's kind of against what the teacher would have wanted for him.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, and of course the other part of it too is there's a little romance subplot where he's got one of the girls at the school is real sweet on him, and
Yep.
which of course you got to have that in a movie like this.
Look, you got to have something to keep the girlfriends that have been dragged along to the Bruce Lee movie a little bit interested.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Which, now that I think about it, is a little bit unfair because it's not like they usually include, like, I don't know, a car chase scene in Sex in the City to keep the boyfriends interested, and they're just expected to suffer.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe they cast more attractive actresses on that show, and they show their
Pish,
boobs. It
pish,
is
pish.
ish fish, yeah, and they
Uh,
show their boobs more.
yeah. What you're describing is the 2000 Charlie's Angels, which we can't have movies like that anymore.
No, we can't have movies like that. No, no,
Mhm.
no.
Now, speaking of movies we did have, so like you're not here for like a deep plot or subtle acting, although
No.
I don't know, maybe in Chinese he did come off as very articulate, but and whatever 70s dub they did for this thing was just a hatchet job.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, and I know some people will say like the dubbing kind of adds to the charm of the movie. That's something I've heard a lot with like Italian horror movies. But like this was just like
I've seen worse, but I've also seen a lot of Japanese kaiju movies. So
oh
like the, Sandy Frank, this is not.
yeah.
And if you know what Sandy Frank is, you've probably also watched Mystery Science Theater and know what true suffering is. Um, the other thing that just made me start laughing at the start, so there was this trend in like the 60s and 70s where you'd always have the song of the movie, and you had some like soft rock crooner guy singing about the Fist of Fury.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't know where this came from, but there was like a bit on SNL with Bill Murray going, "Star Wars,
Wars,
nothing but
nothing but
Star Wars,"
stars.
which was like the big parody of that trend at the time.
Yeah. And probably after that parody, they all stopped doing it.
Yeah, it is funny how like a parody of a trend can sometimes kill the trend to make the parody look strange.
Yeah. And Arco says the 2000 Charlie's Angels was one of Lucy Liu's best film movies.
I don't know who's going to fight you on that one.
No, I don't. I won't fight you on that. Oh. And she looked great in that movie too.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, and I don't know if that song was like originally in Chinese and then they translated it to English because the lyrics were horrible.
Yeah, like it could have been badly dubbed, or it would not. I don't know. I could see like whatever local company was bringing it over, slapping that on.
Yeah,
Although at the same time, now that I think about it, since it was made in Hong Kong, which was a British protectorate at the time, um, they probably like the dub was probably not done locally. So maybe the Hong Kong company did hire an English songwriter to make something for them.
yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, the movie was produced by Golden Harvest, who I think they did like almost all of Bruce Lee's movies, and I know they did most of Jackie Chan's. And they also produced the live action Ninja Turtles movies.
Huh.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, this movie is it's a Bruce Lee
Yeah. It's
kung
as
fu
subtle
movie.
as a fart in church.
Yeah.
I will say, like, just personal opinion, I've been irony poisoned out of this one, I think.
Yeah.
Because like I was just laughing like whenever it's supposed to be cool when he goes, "What the?"
Yeah.
Or, or just like just screams at the top of his lungs as he's beating fools down.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't help but laugh at a bunch of those scenes, even as I was like, "Oh, this is masterful fighting." And like they're doing like a proper escalation of threat because first they have him fight a bunch of jobbers, and they have the head of the school, then they have this Russian guy who they bring in to like restore order, then he has to
Yeah.
fight the actual like local boss. Oh, speaking of things for the guys, they
Yeah.
had a they were this movie
Yeah.
hates the Japanese.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Uh, Um, like there's a scene where there is a completely pointless striptease done by a woman in a kimono, which is performed in front of a mixed crowd of men and young girls
Yeah.
at, at some bordello, or I don't know if it's actually, I don't know if it was the guy's place or they brought her in or what. And I just kept thinking to myself, I have a hard time believing that in 1908 they would have a mixed party like that, where they would just have a random stripper. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
too innocent, but
I wouldn't know either. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that was that it did seem rather tacked on.
yeah. So I guess I said, well, nobody's throwing a punch for a bit. We better make sure people's blood is still pumping.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's an interesting movie. If it's not his most famous or best, then it was still pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Just that I've, I think it's something where if I had watched it younger, I could have appreciated it on a less ironic level. But I think this is one that The Simpsons ruined for me.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Homer whacking day when he's doing
Yeah.
the with the snakes.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yes, uh Arcos, the Chinese being racist to the Japanese, surprise Pikachu face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
To be fair, in the 20th century,
there's a lot of that going around from a lot of people. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was going to say more. In the 20th century, it's not like the Japanese people operating in China in the early 20th century earned a lot of goodwill.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't very nice to, a lot of people.
Yep. Speaking of Rumble in the Jungle, I have no transition for this one.
That's all right.
Um, Bruce Lee, Rock Lee, The Rock. I got nothing.
Oh yeah.
Jumanji.
Yes.
Daniel finally watched the Jumanji remake.
Yes. Yeah. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which is, I don't know if it would you call if we call it a remake or like a sequel slash soft reboot, something.
I would say
Else.
soft reboot because you could totally believe that this isn't the same continuity as the first one, since they do
Yeah.
find the board game.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Um, but yeah, so this movie is currently on Netflix. And last I checked, it was number 2 on the most watched
Yeah.
things on titles on there.
Man, speaking of Netflix jungle movies, I tried to watch the Anaconda remake in about a half hour, and I basically concluded this isn't funny and this is too ironic.
Yeah.
It actually really felt like they were trying to do to Anaconda what Jumanji did to Jumanji.
Yeah, and it didn't quite work.
No,
And yeah,
which is weird because they even had Jack Black in both of them.
yeah. And Arco says he only watched it for Karen Gillian. I have no shame or regret. Don't have any shame or regrets on that. No,
No,
I don't blame you
you,
there.
you get to see her with her hair and no blue makeup.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So I finally got around to watching this movie because my parents have been bugging me for years to watch it.
And anytime it came up, I was telling you to watch it.
Right. Yeah. And I want to mention real quick that whenever my parents mention this movie, the one person they always bring up is Kevin Hart. Like they loved Kevin Hart in this movie, and we'll see. He's funny. He's really good in this. Actually, I would say the whole cast was really good in this.
Because if you asked me who I would remember, I would think of Jack Black for his performance.
Right. Yeah, and he was funny too. But yeah, so Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah, the movie opens up where the I guess this guy who's a dad, he finds a board game on the beach, and this Jumanji board game, and he gives it to his son, who's a teenager, and his son's like, oh, nobody plays board games anymore. And then he goes and plays his PS1, and then the board game evolves into like a kind of like a Atari 2600 console. And then the kid gets sucked into the game, and then we flash forward to modern time, and we've got a cast of teenagers, high schoolers. You've got Spencer, who is he's the nerdy guy, and he has like a lot of allergies and health stuff. I mean, he literally puts Purell on his neck like cologne, like. And then you've also got Fridge, which is obviously a nickname because he's a football player. Which it's a little weird they call him Fridge because I mean I assume it's because he's a big guy, but for those of you who don't know, there was a football player named whose nickname was the Fridge. Was it William Michael? Was it Refrigerator Dean Perry? They called him the Fridge. He played for the Chicago Bears. He was on their Super Bowl team.
Okay, yeah. Looking at a picture of him, dude
Yeah,
is built like a refrigerator. Yeesh.
yeah, he was a big guy. God, I want to say he was like 400 pounds.
I would believe it. Give me a second. I'll find a picture for the nice folks at home.
Yeah, because he he was a big guy, and he was like or maybe like 300, 350. They actually used him. They'd use him as a running back on some plays, like short yardage plays.
I'm guessing this one must have been later on in his career.
Oh yeah. It was after. Oh yeah, that was like in '90s. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. So but anyway, to get back to the movie, so you got Fridge, and he's the football player, but he's having Spencer doing his homework for him. And then you've also got Bethany, she's the popular girl who's very self-absorbed and is constantly on Instagram or wherever. And then last but not least, it's Martha, who's the kind of awkward, shy, nerdy girl. And it took me a while before I realized it's basically the Breakfast Club. It's the Breakfast Club archetypes.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that before, but you're right.
Yeah. The only difference is there was no they don't have the punk kid in there, the ne'er-do-well. But
well,
yeah.
I guess you could argue he was already sucked into the game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You're right. He was. Yeah. So they so the four kids, long story short, they all get attention for different reasons, and then they find the Jumanji console, and then they all get sucked into the game, and of course they're all in the different avatars. So like Spencer is in Dwayne Johnson's body, Fridge is in Kevin Hart's body, Martha is in Karen Gillian's body, and then the teenage girl Bethany is in Jack Black.
Yeah, and Jack Black pretending to be a teenage girl, much less a stuck-up teenage girl, is one of the highlights of this movie.
Oh yeah, I like can't even with this place.
Oh, and just to clarify, so in much the same way that in the original Jumanji movie, people would be sucked into this jungle world via the board game.
Yeah.
In this one, it's video gamified.
Right. Yeah. They all have 3 lives that they're tattooed bars on their wrists. They all have their different skills, their strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so like like Dwayne Johnson is he's really strong and brave, and does the smolder, he does that rock smolder, and he doesn't have any weaknesses at all. And Kevin Hart, he's like he's the weapons guy, so he walks around with the gun bag, and he's also like a zoologist, so he sees an animal and he knows everything about the animal. But he's not fast, he's not strong, and he can't eat cake.
Yeah, like that's one of his weaknesses, cake.
Yeah, and then in Carrie Gillian's, she's her big strength is dance fighting, which is used to great effect in the movie.
Yep.
And then Jack Black he's the cartographer, so he's the only one who can read the map that they have. And so they get the whole backstory of the game, where the villain is looking for the Jumanji gem, and
this is not something that was pulled from the 90s movie. This is just like their own fan fiction.
Right. Yeah. It's completely, completely made up. And what was funny was they have one of the NPCs is telling them the backstory, and then it has cut like, what the heck's going on here? Oh, it's a cut scene like in a video game. It gives you the backstory.
Yep.
Yeah, so the bad guy, I can't remember what his name was. He's really not in it very much.
No,
Ben,
I mean, he's like a classic video game villain who is really just like the excuse for the game to happen.
mhm. Yeah, and his name was Van Pelt, and he's played by he's played that's right. Oh, I thought I recognized, but he looked familiar. Bobby Cannavale plays him. He's been in a lot of. He's one of these character actors who's been in like
Okay.
all kinds of movies. He was in that one movie with the God, what's his name? The comedian, the bald guy with the New York accent. Um, he was in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. I can see his
That's
face.
I know the one you mean. The guy who did that Dad's movie we watched a while back, who I haven't thought
Yeah,
about in
yeah,
years.
yeah. What's it? I always have a hard time remembering his name. Doesn't matter. Somebody will Bill Burr. Thank you, Arcos. Bill Burr. That's why I can never remember. It's a very generic name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's the villain, and he wants the gem, the Jumanji gem, so that he can control the jungle and control all the animals. And he does have that ability to control animals. And apparently, I guess in part of the backstory, he was like the Dwayne Johnson's character, like they were like partners, and then they, he betrayed him and all that stuff. But yeah, so basically the that part of it isn't really important. What is important is just that our four teenagers who are in these avatars have to complete the game before they run out of lives, and
Yep.
yeah. And of course, along the way, that's when they meet the guy who did get sucked into the game, Alex, who was played by one of the Jonas Brothers.
Okay, I thought he looked vaguely familiar.
Yeah,
Slash too handsome.
yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, and then you have all the character interactions where like like Spencer and Martha, obviously have a thing for each other, and then
Right, their
Bethany,
own awkward, nerdy way, even as The Rock pretending to be a teenage nerd.
yeah, and Karen and Jillian pretending to be the same, a teenage nerd, and then of course you got Jack Black, Bethany, who's he starts to really like Alex, which just makes everything real awkward and
To put it mildly.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It's it's fun, it's funny, and I like the action sequences were decent. The character the chemistry between the characters was really good, and and yes, Kevin Hart is very funny.
Right, because he is able to play he has the soul of a tall man and the body of a comically short man.
Right. Yeah. I did like that one scene where they're all like the Alex makes them all margaritas because that's one of his skills is making margaritas, and then they're all drinking them like and he's like, hey man, can I get another one? It's like, of course, the jock, who's probably been to his fair share of house parties, he can drink he can slam a few margaritas.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed this movie a lot. I liked it better than the Robin Williams one.
Yeah. Now I think this is one of those funny movies where if it had come out today, I think that people would have just called it cringe.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
For some reason the video game styling in this one worked really well in its favor, but it absolutely did not in the case of what do you call it? New guy or spare guy or
A Save Guy yeah, the Ryan Reynolds movie. Yeah.
yeah, like
Free
that
Guy.
movie just Free Guy, that's it.
Yeah.
That movie just did not work for me for whatever reason. But it I guess that actually you could argue that this is the first really successful video game movie of like the recent era. It's
Yeah.
only like video game movie if you kind of squint at it, but still
Right. Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
about
it's
video gaming.
right. It's about video gaming. Yeah. Um, the other thing I want to mention real quick too is the actor who plays the dad of the kid that got the first kid that gets sucked into the game,
Mhm.
Alex's dad. He's played by Tim Matheson, who was Otter from Animal House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought, oh, he was the kid from the first Jumanji movie.
No,
And I would have gone, whoa, I never knew that, but that's still cool.
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, I had really had a hard time picturing him as scary old man, because my first thought when I saw that was, wow, Otter's really fallen on hard times. I guess that gynecology practice in Beverly Hills didn't work out too well for him. And Arco says, to be fair, the 90s movie treated the concept a lot more seriously. That's true. It did. Yeah, it was practically a horror movie for kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
Yeah.
I will say this one had a bit more of a through line, which was personally my big complaint about the 90s one when we finally watched it, was that like the 90s one was much meaner.
Mm. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, this one had this one was
It's
lot
much
better.
softer.
Yeah. It's softer. Yeah.
It's very fluffy.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if the second movie is any good or not.
I watched it in theaters and I enjoyed it well enough at the time.
Yeah.
It does have Aquafina in it, but I think it's the best I've seen. Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to make the case for why Aquafina was actually good in that movie.
Okay.
Because her character was Danny DeVito turned into Aquafina. So,
okay.
Aquafina actually does have his voice and vocal tick on her own, actually, with her put on black scent, right?
Oh,
so,
okay.
So it's actually sensible casting.
Oh, okay. Well, if that movie pops up anywhere, I'll give that a watch too.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good, but it has its strong points.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of fluff and strong points that aren't strong, who's Harry Crumb, the John Candy movie that I don't think I'd ever even heard of it. There are some movies that you haven't watched before that are on your radar in some sense, but this one was just I was basically going through Tubi and trying to pick something to watch, and every time we went by Harry Crumb, you were very excited.
Yeah, I remember watching it when I was a kid. May have been late middle school, early high school. This was one of those movies that I hadn't heard of it either at that time, and the only reason I knew about it was because my parents bought it at Best Buy on DVD, and it was in the whatever $5.99 bin. But so I ended up watching it, and I really liked it, and because I like John Candy, and and he's playing he plays a hapless, clumsy private investigator.
Yeah, and I think that's the first interesting thing about this movie is that it is a very different movie from John Candy. It's also very interesting that it's so different than his normal fare, considering that he was a producer on it.
Yeah. I think I think they probably had the idea that this could have been a franchise for him, in the vein of the Pink Panther. But
he's definitely very Clouseau-esque.
Oh yes, yeah. Unfortunately, the movie wasn't successful, so no sequels. But I mean, this is definitely. I would say put this kind of I would say top 5 of his movies. It's not Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or
Uncle Buck
or I would say probably maybe a little better than Summer Rental.
Yeah, it and Summer Rental are very different.
Yeah.
I'd have to sit on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this one I never seen, never heard of, but I'm always up for a new John Candy movie because as much as I grew up and loved the guy, there's a lot of his movies I haven't seen yet, which is part of the fun of doing this podcast is it's an excuse to watch movies I haven't seen or heard of before.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he had quite a few. Unfortunately, he had quite a few movies like a little later in his career that didn't do well. Which is again unfortunate because some of those were actually really good movies, like this movie. But yeah, so so Harry Crumb, so who's Harry Crumb? So he's a private investigator he comes from a long line of private investigators. His Both his father and his grandfather were both private investigators. They started this uh, you know agency, Crumb Investigations, and of course. Of course, Harry Crumb's father and grandfather look exactly like him.
Right, as they're showing the old family photos.
Yeah. um, but unfortunately, Harry is not very bright, so he's gets put on an assignment in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Uh,
Which, yeah, they have an opening scene that just sets the tone for the whole thing.
yeah, he's doing an assignment and he just doesn't. Then he's wearing this really like one of the aspects of the movie is he's always in disguise somehow, or usually in disguise, and he's got this like
Most of
he
them are not very good disguises.
no, they're not very good disguises, but he's kind of dressed like oh god, he kind of looked like Don King. Uh, for those of you who
Yeah,
don't know Don King, he was a boxer promoter. Um,
right. Or if you prefer, he kind of like an Einsteinish look, but with like crazy glasses.
right, so yeah. um, yeah, where he's trying to catch a couple who are having an affair, and then turns out that the pictures he was hired by the woman to catch the husband and having an affair, but in reality he caught her having an affair. Oh, but and of course what's funny is the scene where he crashes through the window. There's a couple arguing, and the guy that's he's yelling at his wife like, "You're letting these guys into my apartment." The guy yelling at the wife it was Lyle Alzado, who was an old football player and became an actor, and he was roided out of his mind. He was one of those guys.
Hmm.
But I remember him because he played for the Denver Broncos for a period of time. He actually boxed Muhammad Ali, I believe, at Mile High Stadium once. But but get back to the movie. Um, so the whole crux of the movie is that this daughter of a very wealthy guy. Her name is Jennifer Downing, and she's having getting a mud bath, but then she gets kidnapped, and excuse me, and so her father, who's PJ Downing, hires the Crumb agency to help to find her. But of course, the guy running the agency, his name is Elliot Drayson, who's played by Jeffrey Jones, who is the principal from Ferris Bueller. He's also in real life, he's a monster. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
But yeah. Just,
so maybe I shouldn't feel too bad about some of the nonsense his character gets put through.
no, you should not. No. But yeah, so uh, he calls in Harry to help with the case, and of course, in hijinks and hilarity ensue.
Yeah, we compared it to Clouseau. There's like a bunch of other comedic detective characters who stumble and bumble into the case.
Yeah,
Like it's like, okay, you had no way of knowing that would actually get you anywhere.
yeah,
Or it's like and this is like a Homer Simpson late season Simpsons grade intellect we're dealing with here. Like,
yeah,
you know, like the daughter, like the remaining daughters, shows him a picture of the sister on her wall, and it's like a blown up poster. It's like
yeah.
the head is like the size of John Candy's body, and he goes, "If that's her head, the rest of her must be enormous."
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, and what was it? Well, yeah, and he's a klutz too. Like he's just
Yep.
he opens the door and he's like, "That's right, I'm the Harry Crumb," and the door slams in his, his face. And, uh, but yeah, I will say the story is half decent because it does have that like film noir detective type story where you have all these like you have different players in the who are doing their own things, and then there have all these betrayals and twists and everything.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to go too deep into it because, like with a lot of comedies, as long as you know that okay, this is generically good, you at that point you kind of want us to shut up and not spend a bunch of time like going over every single gag.
Right, yeah, yeah. So I just remember one gag when he's like when he gets really dizzy and he's just kind of stumbling around.
That's the other thing is like, so this is a very different role for him because usually John Candy characters, I would say like they usually have at least some sort of animal intelligence.
Yeah,
A few of his characters, like the guy in the rental house or
yeah,
what
the summer
the one down,
rental. Yeah,
yeah, the summer rental, excuse me, down in Florida, where he was down in Florida.
yeah.
He was an aircraft traffic controller. They don't let dummies in there.
Right. Right, yeah, and even like, well, even his character in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I mean, yeah, he was a shower curtain ring salesman, but I mean, he was functional. Yeah, uh, yeah.
Right. Where like this guy, just a complete idiot
Yeah,
who who just keeps stumbling into the solution.
yeah. What got me was the one scene where he's in the office, he's talking to one of the other investigators, and he's like, "Oh, I hear you speak multiple languages," and then he starts speaking to him in Mandarin or
Yeah,
Japanese.
do you prefer China or Chinese or
Chinese or
Japanese? He
Chinese?
says.
He's ah. And then he says something else, and he's like, "Sure, sure." Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. And I think what makes Crumb such a amusing character is that he's often mistaken but never in doubt.
right. Yeah.
Like he is sympathetic because he has good objectives, but at the same time, how to put it, he's sympathetic because he has good objectives, but you don't necessarily feel too bad when he gets his comeuppance
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he was
Like
just a big
yeah.
boob.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, if obviously this is one of those movies that didn't get a lot of attention. Like Arco said, he's heard of the title, but he had never seen it. Um, I think that's true for a lot of people. And but I mean, if you happen to be on Tubi, I mean, definitely
You
give
can do
this movie.
worse.
You could do worse. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I don't think I think it's out of print on DVD. And I don't think it ever got a Blu-ray release. Um,
Yeah, Blu-ray had the misfortune of showing up right as the streaming revolution was beginning.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
So it's like I think they were a bit more choosy about what movies got a Blu-ray release than got DVD.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, definitely give this movie a watch. It's a lot of fun.
Indeed.
Well, I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.
And probably more than that, honestly. But
Well, yeah,
that's why you watch this because you like hearing us gab gab gab.
indeed, yes. But well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell. Link to DB's book, Magpie Wizard 6, is in the description down below, and we'll see you next week. Night, everybody.
Yep. Good night.